At your program, you wanted to know what is this Hare Krishna mantra. So, because of how Krishna has arranged tonight, man proposes, but God disposes. And he definitely disposed my guitar. So, anyone who knows me, when I answer a question, I try to answer it according to Prabhupada. So, let's see how Prabhupada defines the Hare Krishna Maha-mantra. Because he has written on the very first record that Prabhupada did, they recorded the Hare Krishna mantra in Greenwich Village, and then he read a speech. And that record was picked up by the Beatles. And they, for some time, one incident, they were sailing through the islands of Greece. And George Harrison said that we were playing that record while we were sailing through the islands of Greece, and we were afraid to stop because we felt like the lights would go out. So every day I listen to that record. And just like I was saying, how you guys were chanting very nicely today, because that early tape, the devotees were new, they were young, and they had just become Krishna conscious because of Prabhupada, and you could hear it in their voices, how they're really chanting sincerely. So, here's Prabhupada's purport to the Hare Krishna Maha-mantra. He says, the transcendental vibration, so that's the first thing. Transcendental means it's not what?
Of this world.
Not of this world.
The Maya.
It's not material. Good, very good. Oh, wait. Oh. Things are not going good today.
Oh, man.
No. It's an inside joke. It all started this morning. Somebody didn't have their towel. And because of that, everything, okay, this is done. No. No, I don't want you to get, no. It's Maya. The bell is now Maya. Today's program is no more Maya. It's all because of Ram. Ram said no more Maya. So Ram, Krishna heard you. Now let's see if he destroys the camera. That could be next to go. Okay, so transcendental vibrations. So that's important. Because in the beginning, there would be, people would joke. It's true. They would joke. Oh, you guys are just self-hypnotizing yourself. You could do the same thing by chanting Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. So the devotees say, okay, you chant Coca-Cola, see what happens. We're going to chant Hare Krishna. Because it's a transcendental vibration. It's not a material sound. Established by the chanting of
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Is the sublime method. So that word sublime, that's another nice word. Sublime means something that's so nice, so cool, so wonderful. Sublime, something is sublime. Like your cooking is sublime. Your singing on my song is sublime. His drumming is sublime. When Ram does business, it's sublime. Method of reviving our Krishna consciousness. Now, this word reviving is very important. When something is revived, it means it was already there, it was lost, and then it came back. So that's key. That's key to Prabhupada's philosophy. That originally, and he's going to say it, but originally we were with Krishna. Now where are we now? We're in Maya. Very good. Okay? But we can get out of Maya by reviving Krishna consciousness. That's important to know. It's not something outside. It's not something foreign. It's already there. It just has to be resuscitated. As living spirit souls, we are all originally Krishna conscious entities. So he used the word revive, now he supports it. Originally Krishna conscious entities. Now, I'm sure at some point in my classes so far, I know I've stated that we always existed, and we exist now, and will continue to exist. What book do we find that information? Do we know what chapter? Excellent. Oh, I don't have the bell. Very good. Yes. The soul was never born, the soul doesn't die. I think we were talking about that at your house, Anita. Was that your house? Yes, bring that right up. So, originally, we are Krishna conscious. Now, according to Senior Ram, we're Maya conscious. But as soon as we started chanting, we became back to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if that chanting was not good chanting, it wouldn't touch me. But I told you, when you guys were, it was like, wow, what a nice sound vibration you were making. It was really nice. You know, it doesn't matter you're expert musician. What matters is the heart. If your heart is into the chanting, it's a different kind of sound. But due to our association with matter from time immemorial, so that means we don't know how we got here. We can't trace it out. So for all intents and purposes, we've been here since time immemorial. It's so long. Our consciousness is now polluted by the material atmosphere. We had lunch together today, thanks to a beautiful lunch made by Srinam Radha. Very nice lunch. And we were talking different things, and she was asking me something, and I said, it's because this age of Kali, everything is against spiritual life. TV, radio, everywhere you look, everywhere you touch, it's just dragging you down. So it's a struggle to be spiritual in this age. It's hard. Nobody, the athletes and the movie stars, everybody's, oh, you're so wonderful. I chant Hare Krishna. Who the hell cares? You don't get any, nobody's encouraging you. In fact, they're discouraging you. They're discouraging you. So you got to be... somebody was asking me recently. I guess it was last night. I forget. Somebody was... Yeah, that was last night. What do you do if, people make fun of you? And I said, you just got to, forgive them, forget them, and just realize they're just fools. And I gave the example, if a child comes up to you and says something nonsense, what do you care? It's a child. So I said, when somebody makes fun of you or ridicules you for chanting, they may be 80 years old, but they're child. They don't know what, even Jesus on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Jesus was a spiritual person, and he's showing us how we should be. Just forgive them, forget them, but you stick to being spiritual. Like I sometimes say, talk to the hand. We can't let anybody or anything distract us. Just forgive them, forget it, and keep on going. Like Prabhupada used to say, when the elephant caravan is moving, the dogs bark. But the elephant just keeps going. Elephant says, who cares for you? The material atmosphere in which we are now living is called Maya, or illusion. Maya means that which is not. And what is this illusion? The illusion is that we are all trying to be lords of material nature, while actually we are under the grip of her stringent laws. So just let that sink in. We're trying to master and dominate the material resources. And Prabhupada's pointing out, you're under her thumb. And that's the illusion. You think you're the enjoyer, the controller, but actually you're the servant. You're the servant. Just like yesterday, I told the story of Indra and how Indra tried to destroy the residents of Vrindavan, and Krishna lifted what? Govardhan Hill. And then Indra came and offered prayers. And then what did Krishna tell Indra? Indra, you're Indra because I allow you. You're not Indra independent. And I can smack you down anytime I want. And Krishna told him, when I see someone puffed up, I drag them down just to wake them up, shake them up, bring them back. That's what's happened to me all day today. All day today, that's what Krishna's been doing. Shaking me, slapping me, smacking me. By this time, I'm like this. Okay, Krishna, I surrender. I give up. I give up. I surrender. So, trying to be lords of material nature while our cell phone goes off. When a servant artificially tries to imitate the all-powerful master, this is called illusion. When I was a young child, there was a movie called Fantasia, a Walt Disney movie. It had different scenarios. And the one that I always remember, Mickey, was a young servant of the wizard. And the wizard had this magic hat. And when the wizard wore the hat, his body was glowing and he could do these amazing things, magical things. So the master took the hat off and he went to take rest. And Mickey was servant, so he was sweeping, right? So Mickey thought, I'll put on the hat and I'll get the broom and the water to do the work. So he put on the hat and he imitated the master. And sure enough, the broom and the bucket of water came to life. And so Mickey told the broom and the water, get the water and you sweep. So they did it. Mickey fell asleep. And while he was, because he gave the orders to the broom, and the whole thing began to flood. And so when the water came up to here, he woke up. So he said, oh my God, there's a flood. So he said, what am I going to do? So he took an axe and he tried to kill the broom in the bucket, But what happened? They multiplied. So now there's hundreds of buckets in hundreds of rooms, and the music is dun, 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 dun. And it's the water is rising and rising, and Mickey's in a whirlpool, and then the wizard comes down. And even without the hat, the wizard goes, junt, junt, and everything, and the doorbell rings. See? Confirmed.
All these props.
Everything goes back to normal. So then Mickey is like walking away, and the wizard takes the broom and swats him on the backside. So that incident is exactly our position. We're trying to manipulate this world, but what happens? We become entangled. And every once in a while, Krishna has to smack us on the backside and wake us up. When a servant artificially tries to imitate the all-powerful master, this is called illusion. In this polluted concept of life, we are all trying to exploit the resources of material nature, but actually we are becoming more and more entangled in her complexities, because energy is always female. We are also energy, so we're also female. Even though I may have a man's body, the soul is energy of Krishna. It's female. Let that sink in for a while. Therefore, although we are engaged in a hard struggle to conquer nature, we are ever more dependent on her. And I had this realization a couple of years ago, that now we have so much technology, and we have become over-dependent on technology. Because what happens if your cell phone dies? Oh my God, what am I going to do? I won't be able to go on Facebook. Oh, God. If the computer, like I do all my banking and paying bills online. If I don't have my computer, if the internet goes down, I'm lost. So, and in America, I don't know about here, but in America, everything is done by computer. The water, the electricity, it's all on a grid. The airplanes we've had in America recently, what was it, United Airlines or Delta Airlines?
3 days.
Yeah, gone. And everybody's stuck at the airport. No flights. All because, at least they say it was a computer glitch. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But some people think it was hacked by the Russians. Some people are saying that. And just today, I saw the headlines. Somebody has hacked the voting apparatus in America. If they can do that, who knows what could happen election day? Oh my God. If Trump becomes president, that's why I got to pray to Krishna. We got to pray to Krishna. Especially, I think we should do a 24-hour kirtan on election day.
I don't want that deity on my office wall. My embassy, they put the picture.
Oh my God. With that orange rug on his head and that yucky, nasty face. So technology, we have become slaves to technology. Because if technology goes, we're lost. You also realize, at least I did, you know, when I used to go to India, like 75, 76, I went to India. When you go to India, you realize how spoiled you are. Am I right? I mean, I'm sure things have improved since then, but back then, it was a big, yeah. And I remember in Vrindavan, just trying to mail a letter took me all day. To go to the post office, wait for the guy to show up. You know, in America, you're spoiled. Everything is, the fridge is there, the water, hot water is there, and TV is there, and yes, see? This illusory struggle against material nature can be stopped at once. Again, Prabhupada uses revival of our Krishna consciousness. So that's twice he's used that word, revival. It's already there, just needs to be revived. Now he changes gears. Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. This consciousness is the original energy of the living entity. So he also said that before, but now he's saying it a little different. It's the original energy of the living entity. When we hear the transcendental vibration, this consciousness is revived. And this process is recommended for this age by authorities. By practical experience, one can perceive that by chanting this Maha-mantra, or the great chanting for deliverance, one can at once feel a transcendental ecstasy coming through from the spiritual stratum. And I told you that's what I was feeling when you guys were chanting. That's exactly what I felt so good to hear you chant so nice and strong. Because when you're not Krishna conscious, the chanting does not come out strong. It comes out weak. But when the chanting is, when the people are in Krishna consciousness, the chanting comes out strong. Really there. And it picks you up. And when one is factually on the plane of spiritual understanding, surpassing the stages of sense, mind, and intelligence, because those are all material. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence. This is there in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. These are material. Then one is situated on the transcendental plane. This chanting of
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
is directly enacted from the spiritual platform. And thus this sound vibration surpasses all lower strata of consciousness, namely sensual, mental, and intellectual. Now, listen to this one. There is no need, therefore, to understand the language of the mantra, nor is there any need for mental speculation or any intellectual adjustment for chanting this Maha-mantra. It springs automatically from the spiritual platform, and as such, anyone can take part in the chanting without any previous qualification and dance in ecstasy. That's how this movement started. Prabhupada sat under a tree in New York City, and he just started chanting. And by his chanting, people started to come. All by chanting. That was the same thing Lord Chaitanya did. He went to South India, he went to Vrindavan, he went through the forest of Jharikanda. When Lord Chaitanya went through the forest, the animals started to follow him, and they started to chant. And Lord Chaitanya was taking a bath in a lake, and there were elephants, and Lord Chaitanya sprinkled them. You know how sometimes you splash? And the elephants started to chant. So, of course, we can't do that. But Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna, so he has that potency. And in South India, he would tell one person, Hare Krishna.
Hare.
And then that person would get so fired up, like you were at your program, that person would go and tell somebody else, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then that person would, and so South India became contaminated by the Hare Krishna Maha-mantra. Contaminated is a joke. Became influenced. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you were. You come in contact with this Hare Krishna mantra, you don't need any qualification. Like I was saying last couple of days. You got 2 ears, you got a tongue, you're in. That's all you need. We have seen this practically. Even a child can take part in the chanting, or even a dog can take part in it. Hey, doggy. Of course, for one who is too entangled in material life, it takes a little more time to come to the standard point. But even such a materially engrossed man is raised to the spiritual platform very quickly. When the mantra is chanted by a pure devotee of the Lord in love, it has the greatest efficacy on the hearers. And as such, this chanting should be heard from the lips of a pure devotee so that immediate effects can be achieved. As far as possible, chanting from the lips of non-devotees should be avoided. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effects. So this is a subtle thing. Because even when Prabhupada was preaching to John Lennon and Yoko Ono, she brought up this point. She was like challenging Prabhupada. Well, if the mantra is so powerful, it shouldn't matter. So Prabhupada, very clever, he said, you go to the pharmacy, there are many different medicines, but you have to pick the right medicine to match the disease. You can't just take any medicine. So we want to hear from a person who is a pure devotee. In other words, they have no motive. They simply want to be a devotee of God. That's a pure devotee. Bottom line, pure devotee. They simply are chanting because they love Krishna on any level. They're not chanting because it makes them famous. They're not chanting because it makes them money. They're not chanting because they get their own group of gopis to follow them around. No, they're chanting simply because they loved, like you. Right? You're coming here. You don't have any expectations. You're coming here to simply hear and chant. So this is pure chanting. And again, that's why I was appreciating your sound vibration. Because like I said, it was innocent, it was sincere, it's pure sound vibration. There are many people, they can do very artistic, but it's going to lack that sincerity, that real thing that really matters. It's not a matter of how expert you are with the music and the melody, and even you have a fantastic voice. No, we simply want someone who's simple, pure-hearted devotee. The word Hara, everybody say, Hara, is the form of addressing the energy of the Lord, and the words Krishna and Rama are forms of addressing the Lord himself. Both Krishna and Rama mean the supreme pleasure. I love that word, pleasure. Isn't that a nice word? Pleasure. And this is the supreme pleasure. And Hara is the supreme pleasure energy of the Lord, changed to Hare, everybody? Hare. In the vocative. The vocative is a Sanskrit, when you took Sanskrit, right? Anybody here took Sanskrit? Did you take it when you went to school? Sanskrit, did you take? Okay, so they have nominative case, objective case, instrumental case, dative case. So depending on the ending of the word, you know how the word is being used in this. Did you take Sanskrit? I taught myself a little bit. So I know about the cases. So the vocative case is when when it's like calling out. So that's when we chant. It's Hare. We're crying out. He's going to come to that. The supreme pleasure energy of the Lord helps us to reach the Lord. I was mentioning this last night. Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna. Like that. You first address the energy and then you address God himself. The material energy called Maya is also one of the multi-energies of the Lord. And we, the living entities, are also the energy, the marginal energy of the Lord. Marginal means we can become influenced by either one. That's our problem. We have the tendency to be influenced both by the spiritual energy and at the same time the material energy. And we were talking why Prabhupada created temples. Because for most of us that material energy is very powerful. So Prabhupada created temples which are Vaikuntha embassies. And if you go there, you can be sheltered from the material energy and be protected by the spiritual energy. Bhakti Devi, devotional service. When the superior energy is in contact with the inferior energy, an incompatible situation arises. That's what you were talking about. You said in the car, no more Maya, because you are now real. See, this is a big boon for you. The fact that you said that, somehow or other, Krishna is starting to be pleased with you. I'm blessing you more. That's a very big step, that you want no more Maya. Yeah. Rakesh went through that a few years ago. Remember? No more Maya. You've seen so many things. You're fed up with it. Right. That's a sign that Krishna is blessing you, that you're able to realize, I'm tired of this Maya. Tired of it. Tired of being kicked around. So, why? Because it's incompatible. Square peg in a round hole don't work. Fish out of water don't work. So, the more we can rise above the material attraction and get attracted to Krishna consciousness, then we're going to be happy. As you said Saturday night, because I saw the posts at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Yeah. People were writing in, had a great time. It was fantastic. Thank you for, and you were saying, is everybody still high like me? Yeah, because you had some experience, some transcendental experience. Can't buy that. That's Krishna's mercy. But when the superior marginal energy is in contact with the superior energy called Hara, the living entity is established in one's happy, normal condition. So to be a devotee is normal. Not to be a devotee is abnormal. So when they make fun of you, just realize, oh, they're just crazy. They're crazy. I'm not crazy. They're crazy. Because they are in Maya. And they're trying to stop me from chanting. They're crazy. Not me. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to chant and play drum. And when the guitar's not broken, play the guitar. The three words, namely Hare,
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna,
and Rama,
Rama,
are the transcendental seeds of the Maha-mantra. The chanting is a spiritual call for the Lord and his internal energy, Hara, to give protection to the conditioned soul. Protection. Mother Hara helps the devotee achieve the grace of the Supreme Father, Hare, or Krishna, and the Lord reveals himself to the devotee who chants this mantra sincerely. And as I've explained, all over the world, wherever I've gone. I've been chanting now for 43 years. Trust me, I'm not the kind of person that is going to chant several hours every day and I'm not getting anything from it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to accept a post-dated check. Say your prayers, and when you die, you're going to heaven. And that's working for me. No, that's called a post-dated check. Would you take a post-dated check in business? No. Cash. Right? Because if some guy gives you a post-dated check, you're never going to see him again. He's taking your goods. Bye-bye, Vinu Ram. Okay? So, this mantra, Krishna reveals little by little, and that's why you continue. At least for me, that's been the case. I wouldn't have stayed more than 2 weeks in the temple unless I was getting something. Well, of course, I was getting nice prasadam. That kind of made it easy. It was really nice prasadam in the Brooklyn temple in 1973. And the Sunday feast was out of the world. I used to eat 3 plates of Sunday feast. And then other devotees, because you know when you have a Sunday feast, how the guests, sometimes they eat a little bit and then so the devotees would be eating the remnants of the guests who didn't fit, like there'd be a whole half a plate. And especially if there was a nice samosa. Oh, like, this is too good to throw away. But I used to eat three plates because it was so good. The Sunday feast back in the 70s were, what you guys get nowadays is nothing. Back in the 70s, we knew how to do feasts. There'd be curd balls in that rice. You'd get sweet rice. You'd get a samosa. Bring me back 73, man. I want a young body so I can eat 3 plates again. Now I can barely eat a half a plate. But Krishna reveals little by little if you chant. He'll reveal. No other means of spiritual realization, therefore, is as effective in this age as chanting the Maha-mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,